Hey guys, I have moved. Obviously, I'm not where I was before. I was sitting upstairs, and there's, the family's upstairs since we live in the basement. So I switched to the basement, and the backdrop, our basement is still a work in progress. It's not completely finished, so it's not great to look at. So I threw up a blanket real quick as sort of a backdrop so that you guys have some pretty little puppies to look at while you're listening to me finish my diagnosis history story. So the last time, if you don't know who I am, hello, I am Zan. So the last time, whoops, I accidentally bumped my table. So the last time that I left off with, I had just gotten a diagnosis of schizophreniform disorder, and I had asked, what is that? And so that was kind of the when I first got that diagnosis, I had asked my psychologist what it was, and he gave me his definition and everything. So I went and did a bunch of my own research on what schizophrenia is. And in the last video, I said that he described it as short-term schizophrenia, which was consistent with what my own research was, is that basically schizophreniform disorder is all the same symptoms as schizophrenia. It just doesn't last more than 6 months. So when the next time that I went back to him, I got about halfway through the session with him, which weren't great sessions. He wasn't a good psychologist. I didn't really like him all that much, but I didn't really have another option available to me at the time. So my air conditioning is starting up, so if you hear something in the background, it's just my air conditioning over here. I hope it's not so loud that you can't hear what I'm saying. I'm gonna keep going though, because I don't feel like trying to do this again like I've tried to do for the millionth time in the past 24 hours. So if it's loud, I'm sorry. So anyway, I went to him again the next month because I couldn't afford weekly sessions. And the next month, I got about halfway through the session with him, and he was like, he called it schizophrenia instead of schizophreniform, and I was like, well, didn't you say that I had schizophreniform, not schizophrenia? And he was like, I never said that. And I was like, okay, that's weird. But again, I didn't have anyone else to go to because there was nobody else available in my area at the time. So I went back a third time, and the next time that I went back to see him, he called it schizoaffective disorder. And I was like, the first time you call it schizophreniform, the second time you call it schizophrenia, and now it's schizoaffective. I was like, what did you actually diagnose me with? And he goes, well, I didn't diagnose you with schizophreniform or schizophrenia, it's schizoaffective. And I was like, okay. So that's when I started realizing I needed to get a different doctor, because he was not giving me consistent care, and he wasn't great anyway, for multiple different reasons. So I did some searching. This is January, February of 2018, so this year, so just a couple months ago. I knew that I needed to find somebody different. So I did a bunch of searching and finally found somebody in about an hour and 15-ish minutes north of where I'm at, that was taking new patients. And I've only had a couple of sessions with this new lady, but she's already exponentially better than the other guy. I should mention, in December of 2017, I had my neurology appointment at KU, finally. happened in December of 17, and when I was talking to the neurologist, she did an EMG, which is a nerve function test, and she did it in my arm, and in my left arm and in my left leg, because my left side was the side that was giving me the most problems. And the EMG results came back normal. So the neurologist said, she was like, I can concur. That's the word I was looking for. She's like, I concur. It is probably your mental health that is causing these symptoms. She said, however, if it doesn't get well, or it doesn't get better with, a decent amount of therapy, then please by all means come back, because, if your psychologists are saying that it should get better with therapy and it doesn't, then we need to do more looking. So I was like, okay, I was satisfied with that. So then that was when I started looking for a new therapist, and I finally found one. And like I said, I've only had a couple of therapy sessions with the new therapist, but she was saying that she was like, the first time that I went to see her, and she asked me, okay, describe to me your symptoms and your history, how you got from point A to point B. And so I ran her through literally everything that I've run you guys through, and told her, that I experienced psychosis. I should mention during this time, like, my psychosis went from being a certain type of visual hallucinations that come in the form of, like, mental images. That went from being that to being I was actually literally seeing things that weren't real in front of my face, basically. And I knew that these things weren't real, but I was still having this. So the hallucinations worsened in that period, and I'll elaborate on this in the next couple of videos. So where I'm at right now, my new therapist is, we did some talking about my symptoms, about what I'm experiencing and everything, and the diagnosis that I have right now is that I have schizophrenia. That is potentially subject to change depending on, if we discover something new, like a new symptom comes up, or if we redo the psych testing that my previous psychologist did and find something different, then that that diagnosis is subject to change, because there are other mental illnesses that can cause psychosis. We know for sure that I do experience psychosis. We're pretty sure at this point that it is schizophrenia, and that is something I feel comfortable saying. I feel comfortable with, like, I'm comfortable with this diagnosis. Now that I know what it is, now that I understand it, I'm comfortable with this. So if it ends up being that, then for sure, then I'm used to it. I'm okay with that. So my current official on paper diagnosis is schizophrenia with psychogenic seizures. I also have a diagnosis of dystonia, because I've had a couple of dystonic episodes in the last couple of months that they think also might be connected to my schizophrenia. So, like, my schizophrenia causes the psychogenic seizures, but then it also has the potential of causing these dystonic reactions. So I do have an official diagnosis of dystonia as well. And that, as a side note, I also have asthma, which is not obviously related to the mental health stuff. But I did get diagnosed with asthma in my adulthood, but as far as we can figure, that is also something that I've had for, like, my entire life. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm in the process of getting a new wheelchair because the wheelchair that I have right now is heavy and clunky, and I can't do back wheel balance on it or anything like that, and it's just not what I need. So my new MD that I just started seeing last month is going through the process to work with the durable medical equipment company that is trying to get me my wheelchair and trying to get that all cleared with insurance and everything too, because I am a part-time wheelchair user. But anyway, that's pretty much it for my history. So that's where I'm at right now. So in the next couple of videos, I'm going to go through talking about what my diagnosis is, what it means, what it doesn't mean, what my struggles are, how it affects me, how it affects my schooling, how it affects my ability to work, all of that stuff. So especially for my family, that is something that I think that my family really needs to watch, those next few videos, because I think it's really important that my family understands how these things affect me and my ability to participate in like family events and things like that. Plus I got a million questions about it last time I was in California for Easter, so I encourage my friends and family to definitely watch the next few videos, even if you've skipped the first and second history parts and only stumbled across this video. Please, I encourage you to go ahead and watch the next ones. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next ones.